listening to Rocks100.com.
The Big Rock.
The Big Rock. Keeping the music alive.
Bon Jovi. Lenny Kravitz.
Hey, all you rockers. This is Johnny J, your host for The Big Rock. Catch me right here on Rocks 100 as we are keeping the music alive, rocking the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The Big Rock on Rocks 100.
Rock. The Big Rock. The Big Rock.
Everything that rocks.
Hey kids, would you like to be a rock god the likes of David Lee Roth in his heyday? Then you need to get the
Rikki ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Each kit comes complete with black nail polish, eyeliner, sparkly scarf, an actual chick magnet, a velvet jacket to make all the girls go wild, and an over-the-hat skull cap with bandana accessory. Act Now will also include a handy booklet showing you all the best places to wear your sunglasses at night. Regularly a $29.95 value, now yours free when you take advantage of this fabulous offer. But don't act just yet. We'll also throw in a wall poster chart diagramming all the best rock faces to enchant your audience, proven to wet the ladies' panties in mere seconds. For all you newbies, this great kit also includes a CD demonstrating how to push your voice for the radio, taught by Rikki ROXX himself. So quit being a big puss and man up rock style with the
Rikki ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Now yours for just $29.95 plus $99.95 shipping and handling. Call now. 1-800-ROCK-GOD. That's 1-800-ROCKGOD. Now. Operators and tattooed hookers are standing by to take your order.
Feel your best before making an arrest. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets when you don't want something salady. Avoid police brutality. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets.
Cop pockets, filled with juicy jelly, mouth-watering maple and bacon, and creamy custard on a crispy donut.
When you want an easy meal while you're busting that your deal. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets.
The cop meal in a pocket.
What you gonna pick? Cop pockets.
Did you wake up this morning with a nasty rash and nothing but regret? Did you go home with a sweaty bass player last night? Did you wake up wanting to chew your own arm off because some skank's laying on it? Are you feeling a burning, itching sensation in your crotchal region? Do you feel like you need to scratch your ass with tree bark? Are you walking around like you were banged with a Scud missile? Did you meet someone at the bar you thought would actually call you back? Idiot! Then you need Skankosporin. It'll cool that burning sensation before you do the walk of shame to the cab. That's Skankosporin Itch Paste.
Available at In-N-Out Party Stores, Bottles and Stuff, 8 Mile Liquor, and Cunningham Drugs.
Yesterday's a memory, it holds nothing for me. I live my life the only way I know how. I keep falling down, 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 down. Now I take these pills, it helps me mask the pain. I drink the same old bottle over and over again. Pick up the pieces and make my way home. I keep falling down, 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 down. Now I live each day just like I'm close to the end. Life don't mean shit to me, it's mandatory. There's too much pressure built inside and I scream. Now all I'm feeling is pain, pain, pain. I sit and question why is so more than me. Now could it be that I am nothing worse than me? I just can't take it, it's too hard to hold on. Keep falling down, 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 down. Life's been wasted, I can't do this again. One step from tragedy, my whole world caving. How could this life just one more day and I'm gone? Keep wondering, where did I go wrong? Too many questions, but too much on the line. Or you give up everything and just don't watch me suffer. self-destruction. I keep it close by my side. I keep falling down, 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 down. Yesterday's a memory now, it holds nothing for me. I live my life the only way I know how. I keep falling down, 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 down.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. It's Rikki rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki Rock Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
That, and we are good to go. Episode number 127 of the Rikki ROXX Show right here on Rocks100.com and streaming live on YouTube live. So super cool. We are here. Christmas is over. Interesting week.
God.
Yeah, I know, right? Interesting week. And we'll get into all that. We got our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week, a band from Oslo, Norway. We're going to be getting into our Beer of the Week, Jolly Pumpkin out of Dexter, Michigan. We're going to get into that. But right now, I know you guys are waiting for something, but right now we are going to get
feverishly.
We're going to get into our nuts and bolts and harsh truths. This is a segment of the show where you guys send us your questions about anything having to do with the music, bands, venues, really anything you want. Send me an email, rocks100radio@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/rocks100, and send me your question.
I've got a guess at this one. This has been sitting in the archives for ages.
No.
And it was like, how do you deal with getting kicked out of a band?
Oh, no. I think we've already talked about that. That would be a good one, though.
I know, right?
This one's actually from Billy out of Ypsilanti, Michigan. Hey, guys, been a fan of you two for years. I don't get out to shows much these days being older, but my question for you guys is a pretty vague one. If you guys were to start your own venue for bands to play, what would you do the same or different than other venues in town? We all know the system is broken. How would you guys fix it if you had the chance? Thanks. Billy from Ypsilanti, Michigan.
So I've had this, like, and don't take this in a sexual way, Rikki, but like the fantasy of like opening a music venue.
Yeah.
And like in my mind, I was like, what would I do?
Yeah.
And obviously I love to fucking gamble. I was like, man, a fucking metal venue that had some slot machines.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I know that's not going to be applicable to this.
A roulette table in the back.
Dude, I could get down and listen to some metal and gambling. Like, that's just how I roll. But I think picking out a few examples of venues that at least you or I have both been to, and picking out the things they do right. So in Akron, Scott, he booked at Ripper's Rock House, Tim Owens Traveler's Tavern, and now I think he's doing the Empire.
Yeah.
He always puts together like 3-band bills, which I really like because it doesn't draw the fucking show out super long. He typically puts like 2 really, really, really solid local bands on, and he hooks the bands up with food. He pays them. He takes care of them. Every show I've played there has always been great.
Yeah.
It's like, it sounds so easy, but I know it's not that.
Well, that seems like something that could only work in a small to small medium sized venue. You know, if you had, Rikki ROXX size music venue, that seats 1,300 people, obviously that wouldn't work. But,
Right.
So, what is it about that who's texting me? Oh, he's the guy from the guy from Taylor Road. He's like, are you sending a Zoom link? Yeah. So continue. I need to send a message.
Well, you were in the middle of saying something.
Oh, what was I saying?
I don't fucking know. Like what he does differently in a smaller venue won't work in a bigger venue. I mean, the Crowfoot, even though like I've only played there a couple of times, they handle it really fucking professionally. I booked a number of shows where the venues were like, you have the show, you do everything.
Yeah.
And if you've like never been to like Tallahassee and you're booking a show there, it can be pretty fucking difficult to put together a good bill because you're not from the area. You don't know the bands very well. Like you can message a million fucking bands and put together a show. Whether it's going to turn out or not is another story. But I don't know. They did like social media blasts. They had like their event pages updated. Like some venues that I've played that I think dropped the ball is like they basically thrust everything on the band or the booking agent or like a promoter, and somewhere along the lines those things fall through the cracks. Like I don't know, it just takes a team effort. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. If I was going to have a spot, the Rikki ROXX Rockstar Lounge, okay, I've already thought of the name, the Rockstar Lounge, named after my short-lived solo band, the Rockstars.
That venue will be 6 months, then gone.
Exactly. But you brought up the Crowfoot, and there's other venues that do this as well. When I was in Casting Shadows and we played in Indiana, they had the stage crew. They had the front of the house. They had a team of people.
And that's kind of what I was alluding to is they have. It's not just the owner. There's like a lot of facets that go into it. Yeah,
they have guys that will help huff the gear, and
it's an operation.
They'll have your front of the house guy, your stage sound guy, and they'll have a team of people. And
machine shop's a good similarity.
Yeah,
to that.
it makes shit run smoother. But another thing that I would do different is in no venue in Metro Detroit does this is if you're a venue. Okay, not a restaurant, sports bar / venue, but a venue.
Like Simon's.
Yeah, where the place isn't open unless there's bands playing. You got to cut the band in on the bar.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. And when you do that, when bands start, what I mean when I say that is, you go up and buy a beer, the band is going to get a small percentage of that beer, whether it be a quarter or whatever it is, whatever percentage.
I've had shows where I dropped $200 at the bar. And we brought people through the door. They're like, well, yeah, you get $20. I'm like, come on.
And the thing is, when bands have that, where it's like, okay, you're going to get 100% of the door and you're also going to get 5% of the bar. That's enticement for a band to bring a lot of people because they're like, man, I know my buddy Billy over here, he drinks like a fish.
Yeah, if I can just make sure Weaver came out, dude can put down like a fucking 30 rack, no problem.
Yeah, and bands will be like, dude, I will bring people to this venue because I know I'm getting a cut of the bar.
Right.
Rather than just, well, I don't want to bring drunk Billy because I'm not going to benefit at all from him being there. I'm going to get the $5 off the door, but that's it.
Yeah.
If this guy gets food, drinks, all this, I'm not seeing any of that money. So if you're a venue, not like, Sunday they have football and they have hockey, they're open every day. That's a different gig. But if I had my own place, and other bars do this, it's not like this is something nobody does.
Oh, right, yeah.
But it's very few and far between.
Well, if you ever play outside of Michigan or if you're from a different state, like it's pretty common.
I'd think
they just don't do that shit here.
If I had a place here in Metro Detroit, I would do that because one, every single band in Detroit would want to play my place.
Fuck yeah.
And I could get the best of the best, not have to do these crazy guarantees. I'd be like, dude, you fill the place, you're getting 5% of the bar. So if they're all drinking and eating, you're going to make a shit ton of money. I'll make a shit ton of money. We'll all leave happy.
Well, and that's the biggest thing is that it should be everybody winning. And there's too many instances, and I won't name any venues of, me going, hey, or the venue going, hey, how'd you do tonight? I lost my ass. Damn, I made a fucking killing.
Yeah. Everybody's got
really, man.
And
Like, it makes me not want to book there anymore.
Yeah.
It will make bands not want to play there anymore. And then in the end, that venue or bar, whatever you want to call it, eventually business is going to kind of dry up because if you're doing that to everyone, no one's going to want to fucking play there.
Yeah. So in Rikki's idealized world, I would have a team. You know, I'd have my stagehand guys, my stage sound guys, my front of house guys. I'd have a team of half a dozen people just making sure the stage.
Team rocks.
Yeah, there it is. You know,
the Rock Squad.
Rock Squad. See, now you're getting my head going. I need to buy a bar. You know, so yeah, if you're a venue, that's what I'd say, you know, that's what I would do. I'd make sure the bands came away winners. You know, if they put in the work to bring these people into my place that wouldn't be open otherwise,
right?
Of course, I'd feel like obligated and be like, you brought these people in. Here's a slice of the pie, you know, rather than just, okay, you can get 100% of the door. You know, after you pay my sound guy.
Well, yeah, there was a number of venues in Florida that I had booked a couple tours down there for, and one of the bands that played there was like, dude, like all the people that go there just like drink their faces off. Like, why don't you try getting a cut of the door? And two of the venues were like, well, you know, if we do the bar thing, like we're not going to give a guarantee. So I was like kind of trying to figure out how to go about that. And obviously if I'm not in Florida, it's not like I can go there and talk to them. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's if you don't ask, you'll never know. So it can't hurt to fucking ask. So if you're in a band and you're drawing like a good amount of people and you're like kind of pissed about pay, be like, hey, what do we got to do to get a cut of the bar?
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
And another thing that I would change is the whole paying for the sound guy thing. That sound guy is the bar's employee, not your employee.
Right.
You know, the bar should pay their employees to do the job, you know, and not the band's, not the band's employee.
That always comes off as another thing that the venue can do to like kind of fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, we would love to have you guys. We can't give you any guarantee. We can pay you an exposure. You know, if you sell tickets, you know, you get to keep 100% of them.
Yeah.
But we got to get our door guy fee. We got to get our security guy fee.
Our room rental fee.
Our lighting guy. It's like when AT&T, they're like, get a brand new iPhone for $99.99. Then they're like, well, you got to pay a service tax fee. You got to pay this fee. Or like Ticketmaster tickets.
Well, I mean, the equivalent would be like, okay, I'm getting a new phone. You got to pay all these fees. Then we need you to give some money to the kids in China who are putting this together because they're the team behind making your iPhone work.
Oriental fee.
So you need to get your money changed into yen and get that, you know, get those kids paid, and then we're going to charge you all this money. And
I'll just send them Bitcoin. Just give me the wallet.
There you go.
Bypass it.
So hopefully to Billy out in Ipsy, that kind of, it's not really a question, more of an idealized world, but.
Oh, and if venues paid bands in crypto, I would play every fucking venue that did that.
Jesus Christ.
Just saying.
All right. So Kevin, Christmas is over, day after Christmas. It's been an eventful week for you. What's been going on, homie?
You know, DoorDash, and
you did pretty good today.
Yeah.
70 some odd dollars.
Yeah, it was only like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, it worked out to like literally almost $30 an hour, which was pretty cool. I went into it though, like even yesterday, I was like, you know what? Tomorrow's the day after Christmas. People might be feeling a little generous.
This is called edging, people. We're edging you toward the big story.
Yeah. So yeah, I did that. Stuff clean, took the tree and lights and everything down.
Oh my God, already?
We weren't really particularly festive this year. Just, it was kind of a meh year, you know. Me with
it looked pretty festive to me.
Well, she goes all out.
Yeah.
But normally, like, right after Thanksgiving, she's like on top of it. But I don't know, work's been, obviously, with me jumping between jobs and like a whole bunch of shit, hasn't really felt very festive. So, yeah, we basically did all that.
Get any cool shit for Christmas?
Yeah, I got a new Lego set. That's
nice.
Pretty badass.
What was it?
It's actually like the new Batman. It's like a car. You know, like I like the Technic cars.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
It's basically that.
The 5 million pieces.
It's a couple thousand.
Yeah, a couple thousand pieces.
No, stuff got me some cool stuff. I got her a shitload of Ray Dunn stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with what that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you probably don't care.
Steve Dave, he's only here for the DoorDash story, so.
No, actually, we're going to talk about pottery and door dashing for the next 2 hours.
Knitting. I got the knitting.
Oh, and then she got me an actual popcorn like machine.
Yeah.
Like I don't like.
You gonna put it down in your arcade?
You know me too well.
Your arcade with one arcade game and just a popcorn machine next to it.
Well,
Turn it on, just pick right out of the machine.
I'm gonna build, bro. I got to build the man cave.
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, and you're starting work on that. You were saying off air.
Oh yeah. I got to get George's ass over because he's doing all the drywall.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on him.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get that done this week. But why don't you get into the reason why everybody's here?
Hopefully it's not the reason everybody's here. Casting Shadows, I get all the viewers when I'm not in the band anymore, or we're not in the band anymore. So there it is. Kevin and Rikki are no longer in Casting Shadows. Kevin was fired. I was not fired. I left. I did not get fired. I left. Danny left. Kevin Razlog was fired. Kevin, what's going on, bro?
That was actually the first time I've ever been fired from a band.
Yeah. Oh, come on. That's it.
Okay, I mean, you've gone to great lengths to express your thoughts and feelings on it.
Did you watch my video?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on my video that I put it out on Monday?
Well, you basically were like, I don't want to go back to playing in a bar, which is valid.
Practicing.
Practicing, sorry. I mean, you didn't explicitly say, hey, it's also my co-host and really good friend, but you kind of alluded to that.
Okay.
And then Danny was like, you've got pro people here, like, we all want to do the same thing. I think you're making a very big mistake, to which I agreed. I understand he wants to be loyal to his boy.
I can see your head working trying to make this as PC and as watered down as possible.
I'm not
just to get through this subject so we can move on.
Oh my God. So, no, my thoughts.
I want the juice. I want controversy, Kevin.
Okay, I was kind of getting to that. So basically, he wanted to bring Don, the original drummer, back. It's his buddy for a very, very long time. I can understand the loyalty side of it. The one thing, I don't know, I guess I'm just used to being in music and dealing with fucking tons of people. You can't go into shit like with your boys and your friends. You gotta build that friendship and relationship with the musicians you play with. I've worked with so many bands that were like, oh, we're all high school buddies, or we've known each other forever. And it never fucking works out, ever. Because they'll all always want to just do what one or two of the people say they want to do, and it's usually counterproductive. There's no business in mind. It's let's keep everybody happy. And sometimes the band business shit, it's going to make one or two or maybe most people unhappy. Well, actually, you know, in this sense, maybe Jeff accomplished that because there are some unhappy people in this scenario. So yeah, he wanted Don back, to which Danny was like, yes, I'm not sticking around. Rikki said, yeah, I'm not sticking around. Me personally, I think it's kind of fucking stupid, but it's his boy, so I can't really be too mad. I guess the only thing that I'm a little angry or salty about is that I feel like this conversation should have been had fucking months ago, because I originally joined on to fill in for like the 3-day run that we did, Blue Ridge, and maybe one other show.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, we're going to do this show. Oh, we're going to do this show. Oh, we're going to do this show. And eventually I was like, well, dude, like, we need to like slow down on these fucking shows. Like, am I in the band? Am I not in the band? Like, we need to figure it out. And then, you know, we start fucking writing music. So I'm like, okay, like, this sounds like we're moving in the right direction. And then, you know, we get together, we have no shows lined up, and then drops the fucking hammer. So, c'est la vie.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rehash
you love rehashing, right?
Well, it was like
You're the rehash master.
I know. I did the video, you know, because I knew I wouldn't be able to wait 6 days for the show to do.
You were fucking making the announcement while it was happening.
Yeah.
On Facebook, you fuck.
Well, it was like literally, you know, I posted a thing. Well, that happened literally less than 5 minutes after I had said, well, I guess I'm out too, kind of thing. And then it was like, I had it. Boop, 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 boop. All right, posted.
You need to have like a queued up thing on your phone that can do like dun 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 Rocks 100 news. You can be like, coming live from Razlog's basement. Dude just got fucking fired. Like while it's actually happening.
Yeah. Get the whole thing on video. So yeah, it was, in the video, I pretty much, this whole thing has been a huge, like, with your temp thing and not being sure if you're in or you're just temp or what's going on, and I've
Can we just say like gun for hire, because temp really sounds like degrading. I know you're loving it.
You're Ryan, the temp. It drug a lot of stuff down. It bogged the machine up. Because I'm like, crap. Do I invest more money into this band if Kevin's just going to be booted out and I'm going to be back, hundreds and hundreds of dollars invested and be like, oh, well, looks like it's back to the bar for practice, or leave and be out that money.
Right.
So it slowed a lot down, and it was always, to me, it was very stressful, because I'm like, I don't know who the hell is going to be in this band. We have a band here, but I don't know how long these people are going to be here, how long I'm going to be here, what's going to happen.
Well, the level of uncertainty is, uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not like be like, okay, this is the band and everybody is gung ho go forward. And I think what spurred this into happening, when it did, was because now the shows are over, we have nothing, and we all agreed, let's take the winter off and start doing other,
well, that's
getting
part
content
of the
together.
cycle of being in a band.
And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start hitting photographers up because the EPK was totally outdated,
right.
And I'm like, okay, let's get some pictures done. Let's slowly start getting some stuff going, and we're writing new music. And from Jeff's side, it was a lot of crickets, and I'm like, oh no, So then I did go to the bar with Don and Jeff the week prior. And I talked to Don. I'm like, yo, bro, what's going on? Because I haven't seen him since he flipped out and quit. That's the last time I saw him or talked to him, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, man, I'm ready to go. I got a job. I got a car. I'm ready to fucking get back into it. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is going to come eventually, and
so,
a couple days later, there it was.
That, like, exact scenario is like, if any of you have had a friend that, like, got into trouble, like, not drugs or robbery, but that someone does something stupid, they flip out, right? And then you don't see them for a long time, and then you say, oh, I'm clean, I'm ready to go. Like, when you said that, and I'm not saying anything against Don, I have no ill will towards the guy or anything, but just from the perspective of the last time you saw him, he flipped out and quit, and then the next time you see him, like a year or whatever later, I'm ready to get back into it. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I foresee the same thing happening again, but
hopefully we're wrong, and with all that said, I know Jeff might be, lurking in there, haven't said anything, but he's listening. I think they call that trolling, but I'm sure he's going to listen to all that.
Long time listener, first time caller.
I haven't, I talked to Jeff, a day or so ago. And I'm like, bro, love you, love Don, love the band. And I even said that during the video. I'm a Casting Shadows fan. I've liked that band for years and years and years. And, don't hate the guy for it. I'm, like I told you, I'm disappointed, very disappointed, because I really thought that we were finally chugging and getting everything lined up for 2022 to be a fucking killer year.
I personally think it's a fucking stupid move. And I mean, even if I was a third party, not in the band or a fan, like just from the optics of, okay, this is what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
They've done this, and that with new people in the lineup, and then you basically lose all of them. I'd be like, not a smart move.
Well, and it's like,
whatever.
When I posted that, when I did that video, that Facebook Live, I had a lot of listeners. It was like,
Rikki was loving it.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Jerking it
I
wanted
to keep talking because I'm on Facebook Live and I'm like, fuck, there's 30 people watching this. I need to say something.
Ricky's in his head, cha-ching, cha-ching.
I'm like, man, why couldn't this been on like YouTube? I could have monetized the fuck out of this, and I don't know where I was going with. Oh, but after I did that video, I got a metric crap ton of messages, people that were fans of the band, people that are fans of me, fans of you, fans of
I have fans.
Whoever.
Holy shit.
There were a couple of them be like, dude, I don't know how you can fire Kevin Razlog. You know, he's one of the best drummers in the city. I don't know how you fire him.
I guess it was bound to happen.
Yeah. You know, and even people inside, you know, the Casting Shadows fans, you know, people that I didn't know until I joined the band, you know, were like, what's going on, you know? And I'm like, I don't know. You got to talk to Jeff. I don't know, you know? So I was kind of, you know, like I said before we went on, this is the first time a band's fallen apart for absolutely no reason.
Well, I mean, it fell apart for a good reason.
Well, but nobody did anything, Kevin. You know, but nobody did anything. You know, usually...
No, exactly. And like when Couch called me, he was like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I actually didn't do anything."
Nothing.
And he was like, "Wait, what?" He was like, "You would have had to have done something ungodly stupid to get fired." I was like, "Nah, bro, I didn't do nothing."
You know, and that's kind of what perplexed me and kind of had me in this thing, because usually when a band breaks up like that, like 3/4 of the guy are gone in one day, it's because there was a big fight.
Oh yeah.
Or there's one guy who's pretty much just a shit nozzle, and he's just like,
yeah, like texting underage girls, or like doing fucking heroin, like, you know, with fucking cops, or just like some crazy shit.
Usually there's a catalyst for something like that to happen. This case, it was literally, you know,
band practice happened, and then boom.
You know, he walked down, he didn't have a guitar and the amp, and then it was just like, yo, love you guys are great musicians, but it's over.
Well, he basically said, "You're gonna hate me for this next part."
Yeah, and it was over like that, and it's like nobody did anything. No, it's not like somebody cunt punted him or something like that.
You come to my house and you kick my dog.
You know, so that's why I was kind of like perplexed by the whole thing. I'm like, wait, did the band just break up for absolutely no reason? Yeah, pretty much. You know, nobody did it. You know, when I talked to him, he's like, "Oh, if, you know, Kevin played guitar, I'd keep all of you guys, you know, but, you know, I wanted Don back, and Don's the drummer, Kevin's a drummer. You can't have two drummers, you know." And he's like, if he played a different instrument or was a singer, you know, I'd keep him on. And I'm like, wow, crazy. So after that, you know, what's going on? You still got Georgia Need. You still have a band. Me, on the other hand, I got nothing.
Oh,
or do I?
Being a sensationalist.
No, I was moving that. Or do I? Kevin Razlog.
So we got this new. Well, I mean, the funniest part about it was after it all happened, we were outside. I think Danny and I were smoking a cigarette, and I was actually about to be like, "Well, why don't we three just keep fucking working on shit?" And Danny's like, "Dude, like, we three could still continue on." And like, I'm glad that was like the general consensus of all three of our minds, like coming together, like, yeah, this sucks. And it's like, well, let's get together after the new year. Let's fucking do some shit.
When I was talking, you know, Nikki was like, well, it's not like he fired you guys. It's pretty much he quit the band and is taking the band name and the songs with him.
Right.
You guys are still a band. You know, you just don't have a lead singer anymore. Your singer quit. Right. And rhythm guitar player quit. And he just took all the songs and the band name.
Crapping Shadows. There we go.
I threw out from the shadows with a Z, but I think that might have been
yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, basically now we just got to find a vocalist, and we're gonna write and see what happens, and kind of go from there. So
there it is.
I'm in good spirits.
Well, I'm like, you know, I went from getting ready to go 500%.
I could see you stewing.
Yeah.
Jeff was talking, and you were just dead eye fucking staring at him. And I knew as soon as we got outside, you were going to be like, "Fuck, man, fucking shit, blah, blah, blah." And then when Danny was like, "Yeah, like, let's do something," I could see Rikki was just like, "Oh, it's not all over."
It's not over yet. It was, Robert Surratt. I have a photo pass that says Chasing Shadows. There you go. New band. Chasing Shadows with Casting Shadows with a Z, and then Casting Shadows with an S. We can just be the show of confusion.
Why don't we call it Chasing Shadows, a.k.a. formerly Casting Shadows?
Featuring Kevin Razlog, Kevin and his band. So, you know, Chris Tucker hanging out. She says so much potential out there. She also says, good thing is you can start your own band, do the things you want to do. Yes, that is a thing. And Steve Dave, goddamn, I was listening to Casting Shadows more on YouTube to like them more because you guys were both in it. But I'm glad you two are sticking together. Oh, there it is. What else? There are 4 people watching while not being signed in, so it could be. Oh, there it is.
You heard it here first.
We played Casting Shadows at the top of the show.
Yeah, we weren't total dicks.
Yeah, so
I told him to cut it off halfway through, but he
Kevin's salty. Look at Kevin. Kevin's turning to Rikki ROXX over there. Cut the damn song.
They didn't pay their bill. Fuck them.
And speaking of, Casting Shadows, like I said, we're not going to rehash this every damn week since it's fresh new news. I figured after today we can be done
hot
with
off the presses.
We can be done with it. But a couple weeks ago we did play the benefit for Kelly Tucker at the Crowfoot, and today Bob Surgott, he's hanging out in the chat, released the full 40-minute mini movie, I guess you could say, about the show. It's a little bit bittersweet for me now because it's like, oh, just a couple weeks ago played that. Now it's my former band, But Casting's on there, second to last show of that lineup, and Chris did an interview on there. Some of the people from Fan did interviews, and it was really eloquently put together. After the video's over, I'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Basically, anyone that knew Kelly, actually knew Kelly, the whole fucking intro is totally Kelly. So you'll definitely like it. Even if you didn't know Kelly, the whole video is awesome.
Yeah.
But the intro is super fucking badass.
Yeah, Bob did a phenomenal job. And yes, I did wish Jeff a happy birthday today. Happy birthday, Jeff Land from Casting Shadows. He turned 57 years old today.
That's it?
Yeah, 57 years old. So happy birthday to him.
Only a few more left, my friend. I'm just kidding.
Hey guys, repping Torn Away. Oh, dude, Joe Hulls is back. Torn Away from Flint. He was one of the OG ROXX 100 listeners from way, way, way back, like episode 2.
Oh, wow.
Like
single digits.
Like the George Shannon days.
Damn.
So George Shannon was a huge fan of Torn Away, and he passed away, what was it? Probably about 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Since George passed. So Joe Hulls, what's going on? Hopefully you are good. And so moving forward into the show, again, the celebration of life Kelly Tucker thing. After the show, I'll go edit everything and put the link to that video in the notes.
Oh, since we're on that,
yeah.
What would be super cool is that every year we do that, Bob does a new intro with the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
How they do in the movies, obviously.
Episode 2.
Yeah, dude, that'd be super fucking cool. Oh, but I'm looking forward to the potential of everything we can do with that whole thing.
So Bob Surgott, Kevin Razlog just volunteered you to keep doing these indefinitely every year.
Oh, you're stuck.
A new 40-minute video every year.
Yeah.
George Shannon was a cool guy, says Steve Ingiel.
Just got added to the Taylor Road Show.
Cool.
At the new Dodge.
Yeah, Sherry Claire, hit me up because Taylor Road, we're going to be talking to Stephen Lynch from the band from Kentucky. They were the Pump or Dump Band of the Week when Sherry was on.
Yep.
So after that show, they hit up Sherry asking for a show up here, and Sherry hooked them up with a gig at the new Dodge. It was originally Taylor Road, Fallen Stronger, and Refueled. Unfortunately, Fallen Stronger had to pull out. And so they hit me up today, and Sherry did. Hey, what bands, do you think we could fill that spot with?
Right.
I think it's January 26th, I believe. It's a Thursday. So I start rattling off all these bands, and I'm thinking, who's cool? I'm like, okay, well, I was Rejected Silence, Phase, Torn Away.
Casting Shadows, dupe.
Jeff Land solo, the Land Band, and I rattled them all off. So it's cool to hear that, Joe, you guys are going to be added onto that show. I'm going to try and make it out to that one since I don't have any commitments for shows anymore.
There you go.
I got tons of free time.
No more of that tour life.
This spring.
It was short and sweet.
Yeah. January 27th. There it is. So yeah, I don't want to talk about that band anymore. So we're going to move into our Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week. I need to get the saltiness out of my life. I already have high sodium, so let's get the salt out. Our Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week is where we actually learned about Taylor Road. They were on a couple of weeks ago with their song. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, shit. Oh, man. They all played. Hopefully nobody heard that.
I'm pretty sure we would have heard shit in the chat because they're pretty on point.
Yeah. Hopefully Taylor Road wasn't playing, back there. But, so yeah. Where was I? Okay, this week's Pump or Dump Band of the Week, where we heard from Taylor Road a couple weeks ago. We have a band called GRAULAR, GRAULAR, out of Oslo, Norway. If you're a fan of alternative metal, the band Caligula's Horse, Tesseract, Dorj and Haken.
I like that Caligula's Horse name. That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of them, but they have a song called Collide that is on their Ashes EP. You can find these guys, facebook.com/GRAULAR, GRAULAR. Info on these guys. GRAULAR is an up-and-coming hard rock band from Norway, mixing intensity, groove, and melodic melodies into a soundscape yet to be unveiled. With aims of pushing the slowly fading genre into the modern world, the group draws inspiration from a vast spectrum of musical elements and genres. The result is a hard-hitting musical experience filled to the brim with attitude and determination.
That's when you have somebody write your band's fucking bio for you.
Right.
I mean, it's very well eloquently put.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just see what we actually hear.
Joe Hull says Drizzling Shits. Band name. You'd have to go really hardcore punk.
I'd rather just go free beer.
Okay.
Free beers with a Z.
Ever since their conception in Oslo in 2017, GRAULAR has been hard at writing original material and playing concerts for the humble citizens of Norway. With the release of their debut EP, Ashes, GRAULAR is now turning their binoculars for the international stage with the ultimate goal of world domination. Don't set your bar too high, good boys. Last week we had Stalker out of Stockholm, Sweden. Their song Pain only got 8 votes. They didn't have, their social media is very small. They're a brand new band. So 8, that's good for you guys. Congratulations on that.
I guess you could say they didn't have a lot of stalk in that one.
Oh,
Jesus.
All right, so we're going to play this video from GRAULAR out of Oslo, Norway, their song Collide, and then we'll be back with this week's Beer of the Week. And then
Steve Dave's favorite episode, or segment, sorry.
Ooh, favorite episode too. Wow, look at that. What else do I have to go over? Okay, so that's it. So when we get back, Beer of the Week, and then the 8 o'clock hour, we'll be talking to Stephen Lynch from Taylor Road, and all this and more. Episode number 127. Of the Rikki ROXX Show. ROXX100.com.
The path we choose, a mystery, friend or enemy, betrayed by the one up above. The trust we gave was all that we had. Harmonies collide. Will something just telling us we're safe. I swear they'll let us down. You don't listen, calling in despair, begging for you to care. Why would you turn your back? I don't listen, 'cause he will break everything we have. I'd rather fight
All right, there it is.
Hell yeah.
There's what was that? GRAULAR out of Oslo, Norway, and their song Clyde off their Ashes EP. Head on over to Spotify, check that out. And Facebook.com/GRAULAR. If you dig these guys, head on over to Facebook.com/Rocks100. Give it a thumbs up or a heart. I'll take that as a pump it too. Or on the other side, if you absolutely hated it, like Kevin's, how Kevin hates being fired from bands, give it the emoji. And I thought that was pretty cool. What are your thoughts?
I fucking really liked it. It's gonna go back to my days of when I was in high school as a huge fucking pothead and shit. But like, I used to love Radiohead, Sigue Rós, shit like that. The vocals and everything kind of were very reminiscent of that. The rest of the band sounded really fucking good. I actually enjoy music like that kind of makes me feel like I'm tripping out on drugs, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Tripping out on drugs.
I don't know. It's very beautiful and tantalizing music is the best way I could describe it.
Oh, big words. Tantalizing.
Yeah, I liked it.
Joe Hulls from the band Torn Away out of Flint. Tesseract and Caligula's Horus was a good comparison for GRAULAR. I was telling Kevin during the break, I'm like, wow, somebody's actually heard of Tesseract and Caligula's Horus. I've never heard of those bands in my life.
You've never heard of Tesseract?
No.
I haven't heard of the other band, but
yeah, I have no freaking idea. Sure. And Steve Dave, the singing kind of reminds me of the band Riverside. I've never heard of them either. I obviously don't know my music at all.
If it ain't 80s glam metal, Rikki don't know about it.
Kind of reminds me of Dredge, says another band, and no fucking idea. All right, so here we go. We're going to move into one of my favorite segments, Beer of the Week. And this week, we have a beer from Jolly Pumpkin Artisan Ales of Dexter, Michigan. Their Calabaza Blanca. This is a 4.8% ABV, 15 IBUs. Quick description on this one. Ale brewed with spices, barrel aged and bottle condition. Brewed and bottled by Jolly Pumpkin Artisan Ales, LLC. Distributed by our friends at Shelton Brothers. Calabaza Blanca, an artisan white ale brewed in Belgium's Berry Blanche tradition, spiced with orange peel and coriander. You'll find it refreshingly tart with a wonderfully dry finish, a year-round favorite for sure. This is a Farmhouse Ale wheat beer. For those that don't know what a Farmhouse Ale is, I did a quick Google search, and this is what I got. A Farmhouse Ale is an ancient European tradition where farmers brewed beer for consumption on the farm from their own grain. Most farmers would brew for Christmas and or the late summer work, but in areas where they had enough grain, farmers would use beer as the everyday drink. Farmhouse Ale has enormous variation in the ingredients and brewing processes used, both of which follow ancient local traditions. Today, many microbreweries make beers they market as farmhouse ale, but in most cases, the connection with the actual farmhouse brewing tradition is rather tenuous. I got this for $13.99 for 4 1-pint cans. Yuck.
Cans.
For 1 point.
For 1 point. 41 points?
For 1 pint cans from Meyer here in Chesterfield, Michigan. Beer Advocate gives this an 8.8 out of 10. Kevin Raslog, what are you thinking?
Dude, this is tart as fuck.
Tart as fuck.
Like, it is very, very tart. It's not bad. Like, the first sip at first, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. After a couple more, it's not.
It's very tarty.
Oh, very, very.
It's almost so tarty, it's retardy.
I almost get
crickets on that one, retardy.
Like the vibe from when I'm like drinking a mead.
Yeah.
But it's definitely better because normally when I drink meads, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get heartburn from this shit. Yeah, this is really tart. I guess the Blanca that is that like indicative of like white, like a white wine.
I guess. I failed Spanish. Here's the artwork for you.
Artwork's cool
out there.
I don't know. Man, I'm struggling. Yeah, I guess it's sort of comparable to a cider, but I hate ciders. This has like the feel, but not the taste of a cider.
Well, to me, ciders are kind of more thicker. You know, more kind of like.
It's similar though. It's sort of similar.
As far as the taste, kind of. You know, it's like Kevin said. I mean, the best way to describe this one is tart. You know, it's
real fucking tart. Dude.
It's not. It's borderline sour.
Have you ever thrown like when you were a little kid, like 8 sweet tarts in your mouth?
Yeah.
And then like drink Gatorade and it's like all the acidity and shit.
Who the fuck does that?
You never did like Warheads where you would throw like 5 of them in your fucking mouth and that shit would like disintegrate the inside of your mouth?
And then drink Gatorade on. No, never did it.
This basically tastes like
Rochester Hills life must have been lit.
This getting shitty. This basically tastes like I filled my mouth with sweet tarts, which I love sweet tarts, mind you. And I'm just constantly chugging water and like the acidity is just pouring all over my mouth.
But this doesn't really have that acidic kick to it, you know, where it's
No. I'm saying that's the best way to describe it. It's not saying like, oh, this is like true. Like, it's not bad. Like, you can obviously see me still drinking it, but it is very fucking tart. That's
it kind of reminds me of like a mead kind of thing as far as the taste. It's sour to the point where it's like not like a sour ale, but like
maybe sour was
like,
the word I was looking
like
for.
Sour, like candy sour. It kind of has that taste.
Yeah,
to
like
it.
sweet tarts.
Yeah, like sweet tarts. And you know, kind of.
Sprees. That's the one I was looking for.
Wow.
Sprees.
Wow. Look, Kevin's amped up for Sprees.
No, because those are 2 totally different candies.
Yeah.
It was definitely fucking Sprees. That's how it tastes to me. Which I love Sprees, don't get me wrong.
Cam Davis says tart. Yes, it is tart. This is more likely to give you heartburn than a mead.
That's like literally anytime I drink, whether it's like a cider or like a mead or just like anything that has like that kind of, it's almost like I get like the grenadine kind of feeling when I drink it, and I can instantly go, I will get heartburn from this.
Yeah.
This is not giving me that feeling. I'm not saying you're wrong, Steve Dave, because you know this shit on a molecular level, unlike Rikki and myself, but I'm really not getting that, oh shit, I'm going to get heartburn. Who knows? Maybe it's going to creep up on me.
So on a scale 1 to 10, what are you thinking?
Man, this is giving me fucking cotton mouth. Jesus Christ.
Like a bitch.
Honestly, after processing it a little bit, while it is on the really, really tart side, I don't not like it. It's like getting my lips even more chapped too. I'll go like an 8.9. I actually think it's pretty solid.
8.9.
Yeah, it's not in the 9s, but it's not like trash.
I'm gonna go a respectable 8.5. Yeah, I'm a huge.
It is super smooth.
You know, I'm a huge fan of everything Jolly Pumpkin that I've had from Jolly Pumpkin before. I may have had this before, going to their restaurants and all that. They have one in Royal Oak and they have one up in Dexter that I've been to. You know, all their beers, that I've had, I have never stumbled on a Jolly Pumpkin beer that I didn't like. You know, they kind of follow this kind of well, it's in the name, artisan. You know, it's very like off the beaten path. It's not going to taste like anything else you've had before.
And I kind of like that. Like, it's really hard for me to compare it to something like throwing out a cider and a mead. Like, those are.
Well, it's like this is like a brewery that they're not going to have an IPA. They're not going to have a stout. You know, they don't really run the traditional beer styles, I guess. They kind of just have
Ferndale.
Very fabulous. So yeah, I'm going to give this an 8.5. Kevin gives this an 8.9. So yeah, definitely if you can pick it up. I don't know how far they ship these things, but
it's definitely unique. Like I give it mad props for that.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like a IPA. It doesn't taste like an ale. You know, it of course it has that tart kind of taste to it. I think
Steph would actually really like this.
So there you go. You need to take her to Jolly Pumpkin. They have great pizza there too. Definitely head out, Royal Oak, Michigan.
There we go.
So yeah, okay. So what else do we have before I play a music video here? We did Beer of the Week, and we did the Pump It or Dump Band of the Week. Nuts and Bolts and Harsh Truths, we did that. We talked about the movie by Bob Sergott.
Talked about me getting fired.
We talked about Kevin getting fired and me quitting my 27th or 28th band.
I love how you were getting shit for leaving. I got such a kick out of that. I was like, man, Ricky's just making it so fucking dramatic.
Well, okay. You missed my bottle conditioning comment. Might have to. Bottle conditioned means sugar was added and fermentation created the carbonation in the beer. No external carbonation was used. Oh, so that might be it.
Okay, yeah, that paints a clear picture.
That ultra sugary tart kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, sprees are pretty much all sugar.
I love how Steve Dave comments on his own comments like, hey, motherfuckers, you guys didn't address this. Thank you for that, Steve Dave. We do greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, so super cool. Definitely dig this one. And like I said last week, I bought Beer of the Week for like the next month, all from 2 different breweries. Last week, let me pull this piece of paper so I can remember what the last week's brewery was. 3 Floyds we did.
3 Floyds.
Yeah, that gumball head where you gave it a 6.5 and I gave it a 4. Next week we're going to have another 3 Floyds on the show, and then after that we're going to do another Jolly Pumpkin and then another 3 Floyds. So we have three Floyds beers and 2 Jolly Pumpkin beers.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's what she said. So yeah, okay, so we're gonna play some Taylor Road, and let me see if
I want to do 2 songs.
You want to do 2 songs?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
I mean, we're here to talk and do music. I mean, we should probably try and play some.
Yeah, we should probably do 2 because he's not hanging out in the Zoom yet. He sees it. Okay. Rikki and Kevin's Casting Shadows, just like Jack Russell or Stephen Riley. If you don't know those bands, but LA Guns.
Oh yes.
They had 2 of the band going out and playing the same songs, and one was just Steve Riley's LA Guns, and then Great White did like Once Bitten Twice Shy 80s band, and they went out as Great White. Then Jack Russell was Jack Russell's Great White. So now we do Rikki and Raz's Casting Shadows. Play the same songs. Is that a big negative? I was gonna say they were ready to go. We're ready to go. We got a full set.
Be like a local H, local Shadows.
Oh Jesus! All right, so we're gonna play some Taylor Road, Final Blow, and then we're gonna get.
We'll throw something else in there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And then we'll get. Maybe I'll throw some Torn Away in there because Joe Hulls was hanging out in there, so I need to find that. That's in my haven't played in a long
archives.
I haven't played in a long ass time folder. I still got.
I think I got a floppy disk around here somewhere.
The 5-inch floppy disk. Where is it? Come on.
How about this?
All
you
these
start
bands.
playing the song, and then while you're playing the song, you look for it.
I got it. All right. So here's Taylor Road, Final Blow, and then we'll play some Torn Away and their song Sinner, which was number 1 when I did the top 5 way back a long time ago. So here it is.
2009.
All right, so here it is. Taylor Road, Final Blow. We'll be right back. And then Torn Away Sinner. And we'll be back episode number 127 of the Rikki ROXX Show, Rocks100.com.
The torch is lit, watch the fire rise. Smoke so thick, it burns your eyes. I feel this weight from deep inside. Pent up rage I can't disguise. My heart is racing, my ears they ring. The embers scorching, they crackle and sing. With pupils wide, I begin to bace. I'm gonna put you in your fucking place. One for my mother and one for my father. One for the sisters and one for the daughters. You were the cannon and we were the fodder. You sold my heart like a lamb to the slaughter. You wanted all. The final blow. Tried our trust, you cut all ties. Buried in your grave of countless lies. You disrespect and patronize. See the world through devil's eyes. You broke our hearts, you broke our home. I'll rip your mind out, I'll burn your throne. Your judgment's here with no soul to sell. I'm gonna send you straight to hell. One for my mother and one for my father. One for the sisters and one for the daughters. You were the cannon and we were the fodder. You sold my heart like a lamb to the slaughter. You wanted all. The final blow. One for my mother and one for my father. One for the sisters and one for the daughters. You were the cannon and we were the fodder. You sold my heart like a lamb to the slaughter. You wanted all. The final blow. death and time, no less words. I keep the thrills inside until I start to fly. I let knuckles sweat, I feel impending death. I walk about that many tread, but I'm aware of the target of my head. From demons that I manufactured, all run beneath my skin, the drinks, the drugs, and I'm a bastard, I'm a sinner. I can't deny it, I'm a sinner, and I won't fight. I'm a sinner, can't justify it. I'm a sinner, why don't you try?
Yeah, there it is. Let me get that real quick. Boom, here we go. All right, so that was Taylor Road starting us off with Final Blow, an awesome music video. They were our Pump It or Dub Band of the Week a few weeks ago. Followed that up with Torn Away and their song Sinner. You can catch both those bands if you're in the Metro Detroit area, January 27th at the new Dodge Lounge. Torn Away, Taylor Road, and Refueled. Definitely head on out there if you're in the Metro Detroit area. Real quick, need to shout out Joe Hulls. He said, following those threads, the casting shadow thing. On
Mr. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah. Following those threads on Facebook was wild. Good on you, Rikki, for doing your thing. Raz is a hell of a drummer.
Thank you, Joe.
Steve Ingill says, I have to send you fellows some more unique Canadian beers. I will definitely take that. Steve Ingill says, Torn Away sounded good. So there it is. And with that, we're going to head on over to Zoom and see if we can't get Stephen Lynch on the tip here. Let's see how we do. All right. Connecting auto. Are you there? Connecting auto and can't unmute. Oh, here we go. Now we're good. Take us through that song.
We wrote it. I want to say we've been together a few months, and Cam, our lead singer, wrote it about his relationship with his mother, and how they grew up, and him and his brother grew up, and how she treated him and everything. And then wrote it. He actually wrote the clean intro riff part, and then we modified the setup a little bit. Me and the drummer Braden do a lot of the arrangement, and Cam and Jackson, our bass player, do a lot of the actual lyric writing and kind of setting the vibe for the song. So we got it together, played it a few times, and a lot of people liked it, so we kept playing it.
We're good, Kev.
Okay.
I know you're going to say something. I'm just resizing things.
No, I was just listening to what he was saying. I get a lot of I always feel bad when I throw this out, but they're not bad bands, but I get like a 3 Days Grace, like Buck Cherry kind of vibe from the sense of like, it's a good, well-written song, well-produced, well-recorded, radio ability kind of song. I personally fucking think it's great.
Thank you.
So, you know, with that being said, like, what has been the overall reception to that song specifically?
The video more than the song. We've been playing the song live for a long time. I think since we first started playing live, which would have been June of 2020, when all the COVID stuff was going on, we've been playing it since then. And the song's always been, you know, we've gotten a lot of compliments on it, but the video we've gotten a lot more compliments because of how, you know, well it was made and everything.
So that's a really good point to bring up. So that was another thing that I noticed. Obviously, it is a very well done video. Like, it's definitely not some like half-ass shit that someone's like in college, like, hey, I'll do it for free.
It was a college kid, and it was for free.
Damn. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Typically, when you get those people, and it's not a bad thing to get a video for free, especially if it's someone like going to school. I mean, in multiple bands I've been in, we've gone down that route. Hey, like, I've got the equipment, I've got the cameras, it's for school, like, I'll do it for free. Anytime you can do anything for free in a band, like, obviously entertain it. But typically in those situations, like, there's a little bit of like the rough editing. Like, that one was really, really fucking well done. So
the kid did it. He's going to school for like photography and videography and stuff like that. And he had answered, we answered an ad that he had put out. He was looking for a band to do a music video, and we answered it, and, you know, got to talk to him and everything. He goes to a private college just north of us, Asbury College here in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up there, and we thought it was going to be like you're talking about. It was just going to be a kid with a camera, you know. But like, we walked in, he had a sound stage, and they had cameras and harnesses and everything, and he was legit. And we're like, uh-oh. The quality of the song was not. We had it recorded once before, and the quality just, once we started seeing how the video was going to progress, we were like, we got to get this re-recorded like ASAP and get a whole new recording of this, or this is not going to match.
Right.
I mean, that's cool you guys identified that, because, I mean, there was a couple times when we had songs that weren't fully mixed and mastered, but, like, we wanted to start getting the video going. And you can do that, but it's interesting from the perspective of you guys were like, holy shit, this video is going to kick ass. Like, we need to re-record it.
Yeah, we went down to Jellicoe, Tennessee, to a guy named Matt McQueen. He runs Gem City Studios. He's the one that's recorded all of our stuff. We've worked with a couple bands that have gone to him, and they recommended him, and he's a great dude, does great work. So we went down there and re-recorded Final Blow, and he's actually recorded Backseat, which we've also got out, and then we're working on getting another one recorded too.
Awesome.
We've got 3 ready to go. 2 are already out. 1 we're getting ready to release soon. It's called Down.
I got that one.
A little bit darker. Yeah, I think Randy might have sent it to you all.
Yeah, he sent it.
Yeah, that one. We haven't released it yet, but it's raring to go.
So tell me, you know, I'm looking up on Google right now, you know, Danville, Kentucky. Not a lot going on out there. You know, it seems like it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So a band like you guys, you know, I can't even find where Louisville or Lexington or anything is.
Click directions and then type it in.
you know, a band like you guys that, you know, are out there, you know, Lexington's up there. Okay. So sorry. You know, is it hard for you guys to do shows, you know, in Danville, or do you guys have to make long treks out to,
we've got to travel. We've got to travel, and we're all okay with that. We knew that going into it, that around here, if you're not a country band, you're not going to get a lot of attention. And that's just the area that we're in. You know, it's just one of those things you can't avoid.
So when you guys put this band together, you know, you mentioned that if you're not playing country, you ain't doing much in Danville. Was there ever a conversation? Hey, if we want to play shows around here, we got to kind of change our sound. We can't be a high screaming rock and roll band. We got to pull in some Skynyrd kind of stuff to make this go.
We knew that was one of the discussions we had early on, which was we knew to play bars that we had to play some softer. We didn't want to play country because actually the bass player and I were in a country band, and just being from where I'm from, I've always listened to country since I was a little kid, but I've also always listened to rock and gotten into the harder stuff, and that's what I want to play. So we had that conversation early on that we would play, like, we do some Tom Petty covers and some Leonard Skinner, some of that softer stuff. And then, but I mean, we also do Motley Crue, Pantera, you know.
Right.
Really getting into the heavier stuff too.
So when you move, you know, where do you, I mean, it's like Lexington, you know, a big city, you know, can you go there and play shows, or is that kind of the same gig, you know?
It's a little bit more accepting of rock and roll than around Danville, but I mean, we've played, Louisville's got a good rock scene. Bowling Green's got a good rock scene, which is about 3 hours away from us. Lexington is where there's so many people, it's kind of hard to run into somebody that's not going to be like, oh yeah, I like rock music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we didn't have to stick strictly to country. We do kind of judge what we're going to play by where we're at and kind of the crowd when we get there. If we start talking to some people and they're like, oh yeah, I love Pantera, we're like, okay, we'll break out some of the Pantera, maybe some Marilyn Manson cover, you know, whatever. Play some of our harder originals. But it's just all about reading the crowd.
So basically, you're looking at roughly 2 or 3 hour drive to basically be able to play a like local-ish show in your genre for the most part.
Yeah, we usually drive minimum of about an hour wherever we're going. We've played a few shows where we didn't have to drive more than an hour, which are fantastic. But you know, you gotta drive and you gotta travel to get out there and do stuff, and that's what we want to do. We just want to play, so we'll go wherever.
You know, and we talked about that you guys are coming into town here in Detroit in January. You know, how long into Taylor Road did you guys decide, hey, we want to be a touring band? You know, because there's a lot of bands, and I'm sure you know of them that are just content, you know, in your case, maybe sticking to Lexington, sticking to Louisville, sticking to
or just
Bowling
staying
Green,
in the state,
staying in town or in state. You know, how and when did you guys decide, hey, let's take this thing on the road?
I think that was right after we named the band. It was almost instantaneous. Like we knew that we didn't want to be a cover band, but we knew that in the environment we were in, we had to play covers to get noticed. Like it's very difficult to just, especially around here where we didn't have a following and, you know, we couldn't go anywhere, that for us to just show up somewhere and be like, hey, we're this band, we have an hour of originals, you should let us play. Most places are going to be like, no. Yeah, so we came up with, I think right now we're at 40 some odd covers and about 10 or 12 originals. So we could play 4.5 hours, 5 hours if we needed to. And that's kind of what we do is we play our covers and mix our originals in every so often just to keep it.
So, you know, what would you, because I know a lot of guys that do the 4.5 hour shows, you know, play an hour, take a break for 20 minutes, play another set. You know, what would you prefer to do, you know, in your perfect world, to go out on tour and play for 4 hours, you know, play originals, sprinkle in some, you know, covers that people might be into, or play a 30-minute set where it's like, dude, just give me the originals?
That's a tough question. I like playing regardless. I don't care how long it is or where it's at. I just want to play. But I don't know. I feel like once we play a 30-minute set, when we get to about minute 25, I'm like, man, I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So I would probably say the 2 hour, 2.5 hour show, maybe 3 hour show. Because 4 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
Especially
2 sets was a lot for Rikki.
Yeah,
I mean, we usually play 3 longer sets.
Okay.
Probably a little over an hour. So that way our breaks kind of add up. Because we usually play like 8 to 12 or 9 to 1 or something like that at most of the bars and places around here that we play. So I would love to play that. If we had the original material to do that and sprinkle in a few covers here and there, I would love to do that.
Oh man, You got more energy than I do. So we have a question from Joe Hulse from the band Torn Away that you guys are going to be sharing the stage with on January 27th.
Yes, very excited for that.
He wants to know what guitar players inspired you to play.
When I first remember listening to music with my dad, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan. I took a really big interest in Stevie Ray Vaughan. Just his phrasing, his feel, the fact that even when you're listening to him over the radio, you can just feel the energy like in the vehicle, you know. And then Angus Young from AC/DC for sure. Just in his riff writing and like I said, the energy that he brings too. And then as I got into heavier music, James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett from Metallica, Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and probably my biggest one is Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
All right, Kevin, you got some. You're awfully quiet. Usually, Kevin is question after question after question.
Well, I'm just soaking in what he's talking about. But so you know, we're hoping next year things will be a little more conducive to like touring and stuff like that. You know, what are your guys' plans? Are you gonna try? I mean, obviously you're coming to Detroit. Are you guys gonna try and focus on doing like weekend warriors? Or are you gonna try putting out more content? Like, what is your guys' game plan for 2022?
Right now, it's going to be trying to play as much as we can that our jobs will allow, because we all work full time still. Because we just haven't had enough to take that leap to go to a full time band.
Shit, dude, all of us are saying the same thing, man. It's a long road to get to that point.
Yeah.
But our goal this year is to get a lot more shows out of state, play more out of state shows than we're playing in state shows. Just to get to more people. We're going to try to hit Ohio more, Indiana more, Michigan more, Tennessee more, because those are all the states right there by us.
Right.
And I think we've got a couple West Virginia shows coming up, but we're just trying to branch out and just get out of the state.
And with these, you mentioned you had a couple songs already in the can. You know, I got Down in Backseat sitting here. You know, are you guys planning on doing, you know, all the content and all that, you know, the videos? Because for Final Blow, you know, the video's really well done. You got a lot of good traction out of that. Are you guys going back to do more videos? Or are you going to see how?
Yeah, we've got two more coming. We've got one. We played at this place called Manchester Music Hall. It's kind of the main venue in Lexington, like the most known one that's not a bar. It's an actual concert hall.
Okay.
And we played there with City Wake, the guys from City Wake that y'all had a couple weeks ago on the phone up it. And we played. Have you all ever heard of the band Liliac?
Yep. You guys just played a show with them, didn't?
Yeah.
A week or so ago.
Yeah, that's the show I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The same guy. His name's Brent Lempner. He's the guy that shot our Final Blow video. He came and shot a live video of us playing Backseat. And we're going to drop that here soon too. That's going to be, we got another video for that.
So are you going to take this kind of the same direction with this video? Because with Final Blow, you kind of had that storyline in there. You know, of course they had the shots of you guys playing, but there was that backstory. Is this something you're going to carry through the rest of your videos, having that storyline in there? Or you're just going to, you know, have the video awesomely shot of you guys just ripping shit up?
Well, that's how Backseat is. Backseat is just us playing like straightforward, but part of what I really like about our songwriting is Jackson and Cam do a lot of the lyric writing, and Jackson is really into trying to create a story out of the song. It's not necessarily like a Charlie Daniels type feel where it's like you listen to what he's saying and you can just picture the story in your head, but it's almost like he's like writing a book where you have to kind of just imagine for yourself what he's talking about. And I really like that about their writing. So if the song, like Down, for example, Down is a story. And part of the video, because Brent is also working on another video for us for that, is it's going to be some shots of like the storyline in the video. So I like the idea of keeping it kind of story based, and our videos kind of having a story with shots of us in there playing, just because it's not so repetitive that it's just us playing all the time. It's almost like a movie type deal, you know. Like I really like Michael Jackson's Thriller video because it's kind of like a movie and a music video at the same time. I really dig that kind of feeling where you can sit down and watch it, and almost like watching a show or something.
I don't think most people like general fans like videos where it's like the band shredding, unless it's like a really like uber talented band, like
and it has to be well done,
right?
You gotta be on.
I feel like literally even songs that don't really call for like a narrative video, like you might as well just try and come up with something. And like I've been in bands where we struggled with that too. It's like, well, why don't we just play and fucking shred? I'm like, dude, I've seen independent bands do that. Nobody fucking gives a shit. Like it sucks. Like you need that movie like storyline to like engage people. Like it makes sense, but it kind of sucks. Like if you guys want to just like go in a room and fucking like in the 90s, bands did that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just throw a few lights and like distort some angles and boom, millions of views, on TV.
Yeah.
It don't work that way anymore.
And another question, because I was, I had the map up and I'm like looking and I'm thinking, I'm like, how does a rock and roll band form in a place that is so inundated with country music? And that's what everybody listens to is country music. How do you put a band together? Because I'm assuming, in my head, oh man, everybody around here likes country. It's going to be hard as hell to find a singer that can sing rock or that wants to do rock, a drummer that doesn't want to just sit and click, click, click and play
honky tonk,
honky tonk, that thing. And a bass player that wants to play rock music. Was putting together the band in the first place like a daunting task, putting the whole thing together and finding those guys?
Kind of. I've been playing since I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was about 15 or 16, I've wanted to be in a band, but it was really hard to find. Like you saying, it's really hard around here to find people that are into that kind of music or that don't play guitar. Literally everybody that I know plays guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very hard to find somebody that played a different instrument but also had the same interests. So the country band that I was in, Jackson was the bass player for, and he started off playing guitar. And when he joined the band, he switched to bass. And so him and I became friends. And he went to school with Cam. And Cam was always he was very inspired by like Van Halen, Motley Crue era hair metal stuff. You can tell by the way he sings.
Yeah.
And then he was in a band with Braden, our drummer. So we kind of had those ties. And then the country band didn't work out for Jackson and I. And he was like, well, Cam and I are going to meet up and jam. Do you want to come over? And I was like, sure. And Cam brought Braden over there, and we just hit immediately. Like it was crazy.
So like right off so is this, because I hear this like when people say, oh, we hit it off right off the bat and we all just kind of clicked. Was it one of those things where it's like 10 minutes later you guys have the first song, you're like, oh geez, we got a song, let's just keep going? Or how did the songwriting kind of evolve? Because usually there'll be like a guy that knows how he wants to sing it, can kind of muster his way through acoustic guitar, and the other guys just kind of play it. How did the songwriting process work with you guys, and getting these songs? Is it you coming with a whole song on guitar and be like, all right guys, fill in some lyrics?
No, that's not what it was. We started off, I think the first song that we got together as a group was either A Man in the Box or Killing in the Name. I can't remember, but it was a cover. We just wanted to jam on something, have something to jam on.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned that, and I mean, we all picked it up pretty fast and kind of came cohesively together really fast.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like how we would react with each other in the song and stuff like that. And that kind of carries over into the songwriting. Like, trying to think of a song. Okay, I'll take one of our originals that we haven't recorded yet. It's called Take It.
Mm-hmm.
I just had the opening riff. That's all I had. I played it for the rest of the guys, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I like that," So we messed around with it. First couple times I played it, Braden just put a beat over it, and we kind of use that as a starting point. Kind of figure out how the song's going to lay out first, and we're all influenced by different people, so we bring all those influences together and try to add and subtract what we need to make it sound listenable but different.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't want to sound generic in any form or fashion, but we also don't want to sound so far out there that nobody wants to listen to us.
Right.
So we would kind of come together, and Jackson would bring his kind of like 90s alt jazzy influence to his bass playing. which would then affect maybe what Braden's playing, even though he's very metalcore inspired. Loves the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold, Ice Nine Kills, bands like that. And then my riffs have always been, I would say bluesy because I'm really inspired by blues, but I also like that kind of groove metal, like Reload era Metallica sound, and Pantera. And then Cam would, however he felt comfortable singing it, whether it would be the high hair metal type screams, or recently he's been a lot of like Corey Taylor type vocals too. He's really expanding his horizons on that, on just how he sings, how he approaches singing stuff.
So, putting together so it wasn't like a really long labored process to, pull those first couple songs out from you guys.
I think the first one we actually got done, Jackson had written, and he already had it done, completely done. It was start to finish was done, but he brought it to us and said, okay, let's make this a full band thing, because it was just a guitar. It was just him singing and playing his guitar.
Yeah.
So he brought it in, and we, Braden put his style drums on it. I played the riff how I would play it if I had written it, or how it felt comfortable for me to play. And Cam played rhythm guitar on it and sang some backup vocals, and Jackson ended up singing it. And we play it not so much lately because it's a little bit on the softer side. So when we play those harder shows, we just want to, hit them hard.
Right.
So, with everything you've said, is it safe to say that you really don't have to focus on like a local music scene for the most part? Because like you guys obviously have to drive quite a bit of ways to like play shows that are in your genre. I think most bands that we've all been in or talked to don't really have that. Well, because they'll typically be like, okay, let's focus on like our local area.
Right.
And then, build. You guys kind of don't really seem to have that local, I guess, scene in the essence that it's more mainly country, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously I don't know if you guys have been in other bands that have done this over the years. Do you think that it almost helps skipping a step because, like, since you don't have a local scene? You
don't have that comfort of being like, oh, we can just drive 20 minutes to 5 different places and just play those places over and over and over again.
Right.
It's weird because when we started, it wasn't like we were like, okay, we're going to start with this city and just take this city over first and expand from there. It was like the state was kind of our starting point. It was like, okay, we just want to play as much as we can in Kentucky.
Right.
Regardless of where it's at, if it's in Louisville, Richmond, Lexington, if it's next door, if it's in the driveway out here at the garage, I don't care. We just want to play and start with the state first. And that's what we did last year was we played a bunch. I can't remember. I want to say we played 70 some odd shows last year.
Wow. I'm willing to bet that honestly, the fact you don't have a local scene in essence for that genre, it made you look at the bigger picture. Cause like, I feel like a lot of bands around here be like, all right, we're going to like slay Metro Detroit. And then they play the fucking ever loving shit out of Metro Detroit. Like 50 fucking shows in like a span of 6 months of Metro Detroit. And it's like you're overplaying the living shit out of it. Now, if you're looking at the whole state of Michigan, I mean, you've got Lansing, Kalamazoo, Flint, like Traverse City. Like, there's a lot of markets you can hit. This is a really interesting scenario because I don't think I've ever talked to a band that, like, out the gate had to look at it from a statewide perspective.
Right.
Yeah, that's how we started looking at it because we knew, a bunch of places in Lexington just weren't going to have us because we were, even with our Tom Petty Leonard Skinner covers, we were still too heavy. Because I mean, for a long time, Cam had a mohawk, and if you walk in somewhere with a 10-inch mohawk, and you're like, "Oh yeah, we play Tom Petty," they're like, "Do you so?" And we're like, "Yeah," but then we play Motley Crue right after it. So
right,
it's hard to do. So yeah, we looked at the whole state as our starting point, and I mean, a bunch of places we played, we were on like a 6-week rotation, so it's not like we were playing there consecutive weekends. We would take a month and a half before we would come back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome, man.
I want to say there was probably 3 or 4 weekends where we haven't played since March.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's how I used to be, man. I loved it.
So we did have a question from Steve Ingiel from Mississauga, Ontario. He wants to know a nastiest/worst gig you've ever played.
And if you don't want to dox the venue, feel free to not say the name.
But at the same time, feel free to dox the venue.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. I don't know. None of them have been like catastrophic, you know.
Just wait. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
I've been to Detroit yet.
January.
I don't know. I mean, none of them have been bad. I mean, there's just been venues, you know, where the scheduling might not have been the best day and we played and there wasn't anybody there. That's probably the only bad one I could say.
Like, have you ever pulled up to like a venue that you've never played before, you know, maybe in Tennessee or somewhere else, where you're like, it's out in the middle of nowhere and it's some guy's barn or something like that?
He's used to being in the middle of nowhere.
You know, you show up and you're like, you show up and you're like, oh God, we drove all this way to play here. Has there ever been a gig like that yet?
I feel like they'd be more used to gigs like that.
Well, there's one. I'm not going to say the name of the place, but we rolled up and we knew it was going to be kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and we're like, that's cool, whatever. And we go in and they're like, yeah, here's where you'll set up next to the Mechanical Bull.
Nice.
And I was like, that's a first.
Surprisingly, I've done the same thing at Coyote Joe's. Not right next to it, but
just make sure your amp's far enough away to when somebody gets on that thing.
What scared me to death was the place didn't have their own sound, and we have our own sound equipment. So I set everything up, and then like right in the middle of our second set, people started getting on the bull, and I was like, if somebody comes flying off here and smashes my board, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh yeah.
Like,
head goes through the kick drum.
Like I had my hat off, my hair was in front of my face, but I was looking out of the corner of my eye the whole time, like watching these people. I'm like, if somebody breaks this board, there's gonna be a fight. Somebody walks by, trips, unplugs something, I'm gonna lose it.
Oh Jesus, that would be something. So Steve also says, have you had an audience that just didn't like you at all? That was like, no matter what you played, it was crickets, arms crossed.
The elitist. That ain't Skinner.
Just nobody was digging it.
Not really. I mean, we're very lucky. I mean, I know there's people out there going to talk shit and just be haters because that's how people are. But we've never had anybody like boo us or nothing. You know, we were always pretty well accepted. But like, I mean, it's just if there's nobody there, there's nobody to clap. But the people that are there clap. We've never had anybody, you know, like boo us off the stage or throw shit at us. You know, whatever. We're always pretty well accepted. And I think that's because we hang out beforehand and like talk to people and you know just interact with the audience and stuff. And I guess they kind of get our personalities, and then they just kind of accept what we're doing.
Right.
So to put this in perspective, Rikki, have you A, ever been booed off stage, and B, had shit thrown at you?
Yes.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah, it happens.
I've been fired. That just happened recently, but I've never been booed or had shit thrown at me.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling, is mostly when you've had a couple drinks and somebody's like, boo, fuck you, dude. It's horrible. So, you know, the thing, you know, since you have a wide state, that's where you guys started out, you know, not looking locally, but looking statewide. You know, obviously you've played places, you know, more than once. And the big question I ask is, when you go back that second or third time, you know, say you're 4 hours out, 5 hours out or whatever, are you seeing your crowd growing? You know, are you seeing people that like, oh man, you know, I saw you the first time you came through and you guys killed it, and I became a fan, and now every time you come through, wherever it is, Chattanooga or whatever, I gotta come see you. Are you seeing
getting those diehards?
You know, are you building that fan base every time you go back out?
What comes to my mind right off the bat is this place called Billigan's Bar in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's right underneath Illinois, Indiana, over by that where the state line is. We played there with one of our friends. It's a band called Gravel Switch. Have y'all ever heard of them?
Oh yeah, I heard of Gravel Switch. Yep. Those guys play everywhere.
They're from just south of where we live, and we played a venue down where they're at, and we became really good friends with them. So they brought us to Owensboro to open for them at this bar.
Okay.
And so we opened for them, and the manager there, his name's Steve, he loved us. He was like, man, I need to have y'all back for your own show. I'm like, okay. So we come back and play our first show there, and people just loved us, you know. And so that's been one of those places where we keep going back to. And every time we go there, we're like, oh yeah, this is like our 5th time seeing you guys here. You know, like we saw that you were going to be here. We had to come back, and we've played there 7 or 8 times this year. And every time it's been recurring people, and they'll bring somebody with them.
Yeah.
Like a friend or family or something, or somebody will have seen that we've been there a few times and haven't seen us yet. And like, well, this band keeps coming here. Let's go check them out. And then they'll like us, and then they'll come back to the next show.
Dude,
So, yeah,
to me, that's indicative of a good band. And it's nice to see those results, because there was a few times, like I remember the first time Shudder played in Lima, Ohio, like little tiny ass town, like we were literally a blip on the radar. Then the second or third time we played, like there was actually like a line outside, and I remember we ran out of the original Shudder shirts, and like we saw people wearing them, and we're like, holy fuck, dude, like those were like 2 years ago. Yeah. It's a really an awesome feeling when you could be like, wow, we played here like 2 years ago. Like, and this is a little tiny ass bar, right? And like, wow, there's people waiting for us. They're wearing our shit. Like, they're bringing more people. Like, to me, that was like the sign that, hey, what we're doing is actually working. Like, people are actually coming out. Like, we're not doing anything different. We're not like buying likes and doing this and that. Like, it's organic growth. And I think that's like literally impossible to just fudge organic growth.
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling whenever you show up and you walk in and you see the regulars, and they're like, "We're so glad y'all are back. You know, it's gonna be a good night tonight." And then, I mean, it's the bar's packed.
Hell yeah.
You know, and it's people like it's not just people that are there. It's like people that are there to see you, and they interact with you. You know, when Cam's talking to the crowd, you know, and he asks them a question, people are yelling, you know, stuff, and interacting with us. It's almost surreal. It's like, how did we do this? We've only been together, we're going on 2 years in February. How did we do this in 2 years?
Well, results speak for themselves, but to even build on that, the fact that the people are like engaged in the show, like the worst thing ever is like you're playing and people are dicking around on their phones or like just not paying attention. And
sitting at the bar, then when you say something, it's crickets.
Yeah, I mean, like just getting that engagement. I mean, there are certain spots that just like foster that engagement where people are like, all right, no phones, I'm going to focus on the music, I'm going to focus on the show. But I mean, I've even seen it at like St. Andrews or like even other venues where it's an event, it's a show, and then, you know, you got people like fucking off the whole time. So, you know, that's obviously great to see, and I'm glad to hear that even with everything going on in the world, that your bands are still playing shows and having that kind of experience
and growing, you know, organically.
It's a great thing to experience, for real. It really is. I never thought I would experience anything like it in my life, to be honest.
I've been doing this for over 20 years and I still haven't experienced that yet. You know, we have another question from Bug Eater, you know, in the chat. He wants to know what the goal is. What's the goal for Taylor Road moving into 2022? What do you guys want to get done next year?
I would like to have an album almost done. We've got the material to do it. We just need to get the time and the money to get down and record it. I would like for 2023 to be able to have an album ready to go, and just to keep playing more and more states, more and more actual venues, and not so much bars. I think that's kind of our goal, is to just keep growing at the rate that we've been growing, and hopefully by the time 5 years rolls around for us, we'll be able to sustain ourselves on this and not have to work anymore.
So 2022, you're gonna try to get the album done and put out. 2023 is where you're planning on really hitting the ground and going the full bore.
Yeah, it's all about laying the groundwork and paying your dues, and just playing as much as we can. When we first started and Randy was booking for us, I said I wouldn't say no to anything. You know, I'll play anywhere once. If it's terrible, you know, then we'll consider it a second time. But I'd play at a retirement home. If they wanted to hear some rock music, I'd be like, let's go. Do they need sound? I've got sound. We'll do it. Let's do it.
So, you know, going into 2022, Buggy Eater asked where Kevin had to go pee. That's where Kevin went. You know, so 2022, you know, and Kevin's back.
Yep.
You know, you got the show up here in January. You know, are you tacking on any more shows than that, or are you just driving right from Danville all the way up to Michigan to play a show and then driving all the way back?
There's a possibility of one on January 28th. It's kind of up in the air right now. We're not really sure of it, but I mean, if we had to do that, let's do it. I'm not opposed to just one-day shows, going up there and playing one day and coming back. But we're gonna try to make a weekend out of it.
Because that's like an 8-hour drive, right?
6.
Yeah, I mean, for one show, 6 hours is kind of, I don't want to say crappy, but to be able to do 2 is more ideal for sure.
Yeah.
It's not ideal to drive up and play one show, but I mean, we always have fun. I mean, we would go up there, play Thursday, drive back Friday if we had to, stop in Fort Wayne and check out Sweetwater or something. We'd make a weekend out of it.
Right.
We wouldn't let the next day go to waste. We would do something productive with it.
So one thing I wanted to throw at you. So say you get like a Thursday, Friday, like Detroit, Fort Wayne, and then Saturday is like up in the air. Do you guys like ever just be like, hey, like, we want to hit Nashville. Why don't we go to some of the venues in Nashville? And I'm just throwing out an arbitrary city. Do you guys ever throw that in? Because when I would go out, our days off were generally Mondays. And sometimes you just wind up in, say, in Nashville or in Austin. And what we would do is we would purposely go to venues and be like, oh, yeah, we're on tour, but today is our day off. We wanted to come check out the venue, grab some food, drinks, whatever, and then hopefully try and get like a booking contact out of it.
We did that in Nashville, actually. We played in Murfreesboro, south of Nashville.
Yep.
And we played, I think it was a Friday or a Saturday. I can't remember we played, but afterwards we the ones of us that can, sadly our drummer's not 21, so he can't go anywhere.
Been there.
Bummer.
Yeah.
He'll learn.
The rest of us drove up to Nashville and we went and walked around, and checked out some places and went in there and made some contacts with some people and just took in the scene, because that was the first time I'd ever been to Nashville too. So we just kind of went up there and checked out some of the venues and the ones we thought we could get into, the ones that might be a little bit more rock based. Because if I was a country band and went to Nashville, I would be scared to death. The country bands there are so good.
Yeah, for sure.
But rock is definitely kind of an underrated scene down there. So I feel like if we could get our foot in the door at some places, that would help us out a lot. So those places we went to, checked them out, got some information, people booking, talked to some sound guys, hung out for a little bit, just took it all in.
Hell yeah.
And we had another question from Lindsay Tyler. She wants to know, or she wanted to say, can't wait to watch you play on New Year's. That's, in my experience, New Year's is always, a tougher grind to do a show. What do you got going on New Year's?
We're playing a place in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, which is probably about 40 minutes away from us. We're playing there. It's a place called Hannah's Sports Bar, and we've played there a few times. It's kind of the local area, the hangout spot over there, and they wanted us for New Year's, so we're gonna go burn the place down.
Right on, man.
All right, so what we found out was, you're gonna do a couple shows, but hopefully 2022 new album, you get that done. 2023 is the big plan on going full bore, getting all the touring and doing all that. Gonna be new music videos from you guys, a couple of them in the works right now. You guys are tearing up Kentucky and coming up to Michigan in January.
And in March.
And in March. Where are you playing in March?
March 4th, we're going to be Rockstar Lounge in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And then March 5th, we're going to be in Battle Creek.
Music Factory.
The Music Factory. Okay.
Music Factory. And then March 6th, so it'll be a 3-day run. We're going to do a Chicago Street Pub in Coldwater.
There, look at these guys hitting the ground running. Only been around for 2 years. Already hitting the road.
As soon as he said we had to look at statewide, I immediately was like, okay, most bands don't ever say, well, we're gonna look at the whole state. They go, we're gonna look at our city, and from there, I mean, it was kind of like you were a casualty of your location, but I think that helped you guys out in the sense that you're looking way bigger, which isn't a bad thing. I feel like most bands need to look a little bit bigger. Because a lot of them, what they'll try to do is like, we're going to conquer our local scene. It's like, dude, your local scene ain't going to do shit for you. Like, people that loved Eminem back in the day didn't give a fucking shit about him until he blew up. Like they rocked his mixtapes and shit, but did they go to shows? Did they buy merch? Did they do this? Most of the time it's no. Like your friends and family can get you so far, and I tell bands this all the time because they'll be like, oh, well, we could draw like 100 people like locally, and it's like, yeah, and then they leave after you're done playing. Like that's not a show. Like build fans, build real fans. And like you have said, you know, you played different spots where like they tell a friend or two friends, and then the next time you go, there's like 10 or 15 more. Like that's the organic growth you want to see. So whatever you guys are doing, fucking keep up with it because it sounds like you're on the right path.
Write a book and I will buy it.
There you go.
Thank you.
And Ricky's been doing this for ages.
I've been doing this forever. And you know, is there anything, because we're coming up on 9 o'clock pretty quick here, is there anything that we haven't touched on yet that you want to get out there to people that are listening now or going to listen later on down the line?
Just, I don't know, just keep supporting live music is all I can say. That's just one of those things, especially with all the COVID stuff that's been going on, that, you know, just people getting out and being together and enjoying, like, just something going on is kind of, we've been fortunate enough that nothing that we've really done has been, like, shut down or anything, you know, because of it. But, like, we've just been fortunate to be able to get out and play in front of people and people not be scared to come out and, you know, hang out and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure the only two people in the band that haven't gotten COVID are me and Cam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things that just happens, you know.
You know, and another quick thing, since we brought up COVID, you know, you guys have been a band for 2 years. That's pretty much, you guys got together right before COVID kind of
So let's
hit.
say it like a year, because that cuts like a whole fucking year out.
You know, did you guys get together, you know, or was it like, hey, we don't know what this COVID thing is, let's take a break until we figure out what all this is? Because a lot of bands were just like, we're not even getting together to practice. Right. We're going to social distance.
We took that downtime to hang out with each other and get to know each other really well and write and just learn covers and learn each other and learn how our styles and everything we're gonna mix, because we started February and our state got shut down in March. So we'd been together a month and we're like, okay, so we don't know how long this is gonna last, but whenever the doors open, we're gonna be ready to go.
Resilient and productive bunch. I'm jealous.
All right, so I have nothing else. Kevin, you got anything?
No, man. I definitely appreciate you calling. Like, super stoked. Obviously, love the track, love the video.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all playing it, and thanks to Sherry for getting us that show up there.
Yeah, and we'll both be in attendance. Like, I'm excited to see you guys, and you know, best of luck in the next year. And if you guys need anything, feel free to hit up Rikki or myself. We're definitely in your guys' corner.
Thank you.
And the last thing I got for you, I have 2 songs queued up. I'm going to let you pick which one we're going to play. Either we're going to play it down or backseat. Your pick.
Let's tease the people with down.
All right, so we're going to play down. Stephen Lynch, thank you so much for talking to us. We will see you up here in a couple weeks. And
Torn Away, Refueled, Taylor Road.
There it is. All right, brother. We'll take it easy. We'll see you in a few weeks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Peace out, man.
See you.
All right. That was Stephen Lynch from the band Taylor Road. You want to wrap the show up, and then we'll end the show with some Taylor Road?
Put me on the spot to wrap the show up.
Okay.
Happy holidays, first of all, everybody. Be safe. Don't be doing stupid shit.
I was kind of leaning toward what were your takeaways from the interview. Happy holidays.
I mean, I'm still kind of blown away by the fact that because they're kind of in like the middle of fucking nowhere, that they chose to look at it from a statewide perspective rather than like regional or like just like city-wise. Which for them, that's apparently the audio.
I just fixed it. Yeah, we're good.
That's super cool, and I think that prevented them from falling into some of the bad habits that we've seen around here. Yeah. And I mean, it happens in every metropolitan area. It's not just local to Michigan.
So I guess it's maybe like almost a blessing that they're not from a big city or a city with like all these venues where they're kind of forced to like, well, we drive 3 hours to play a local show here anyway. What's the harm in driving an extra hour to play out of state?
There's a couple bands that I've worked with that live in the northern part of the Mitten, and I it works out differently because just for them to get to the Michigan border, it's like 3 hours. And then it's like, okay, to get to like Fort Wayne, 5 hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're in like a spot where there's different states relatively close where it's like, if you're in Gaylord, like Becoming Human, right? Just for them to get to Detroit was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just to get out of Michigan's like 3.
Well, but it's like for them, it's like, okay, we're going to play a quote unquote local show. It's going to take us 2 hours to get there. And what's the harm in driving 3 to play in Indiana?
It's just a perplexing thing. Like, and I'm not saying as an excuse to any bands by any means. It's just a really interesting thing. Because, like, if I lived in Mount Pleasant, because I went to school there and I was in a band, I would know my options are like Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Detroit, and then after that, it's like you got to go out of state, obviously. But they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna do it."
Well, I guess my point being, you know, since we're in Detroit, you can get very comfortable very easily driving 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you're 3 hours away, your first shows are 2 or 3 hours away. You know, those are your first shows where everybody else is playing. You know, for me, playing Diesel 5 minutes away, you could get really used to that and be like, why would I drive 3 hours to play a show when I can drive 10 minutes to play a show?
And that's why I was saying it's kind of perplexing but cool because they identify that off the bat. Like most bands, like even me, like when I started getting into the booking, I was like, dude, fuck Michigan. I want to go play elsewhere. Just because I wanted to get the fuck out of Michigan and go and take trips.
Yeah.
But for them, they were like, okay, well, our local scene is primarily country. We need to just go.
They had to.
They had to
literally pretty much go on tours.
Yeah, and,
you know,
and that's what I think's really cool is that as a very young band, they identified, hey, we need to look statewide and beyond, not just our metro area.
Yeah.
And there's a maturity factor with that, I guess. Like, I don't feel like most young, it doesn't matter if you're in your 30s or your 20s or you're 18, when you're new into a band or a new band, it's easy for those things to just kind of get bypassed because you could have that one dude in the band's like, oh, I got the hook up here. And then you play there and then things go good and they're like, oh, well, we'll play here again in like a month and then we'll play here. And
is this how it's going to go with the new band? You're the guy who knows all the shit and be like, oh, we'll just play here every month.
No, come on, Rikki.
Okay.
You know me.
Okay.
I ain't that fucking dude.
Okay. So yeah, that's, you know, it's really cool. You know, when I found out about Taylor Road, it was like literally one of those messages that I just got, and it just said rock band, and I'm like, okay, anything that says rock band, I'm automatically in because I don't get a lot.
Now every band listening knows.
It's going to be Celtic death metal, and they're just going to say rock band. You know,
so they're going to use fucking wingdings to spell out rock band.
You know, so it was cool to you know, find out about these guys, and that's why I do the Pump It or Dump Band of the Week, to find out about bands like, because I would have never, you know, being from Detroit, unless we happened to play a show that they happened to be on, I would have never found out about Taylor Road. You know, and that's why, you know, I do this show.
Well, because I mean, it is hard to discover good bands. Like, it truly is, because there's so fucking many bands, and some artificially inflate their numbers, and some do this, some do that. Like, to find a genuinely good band, it's not as easy as just
it's like, you know, if I was going to find out about Taylor Road, you know, it would either I was in Kentucky and I just happened to stumble into a bar where they were playing, or, you know, well, Sherry wouldn't have booked them because she wouldn't have found out about them. You know, using this show is kind of like a platform for people to reach audiences. That's why I do this, you know, because it's like, well, damn, now I'm going to go to the new Dodge and Hamtramck to see a local rock band from nowhere in Kentucky.
Yep.
You know, so it's super cool. And, you know, I wish more people would embrace this medium that I've created. But
they'd rather pay $300 to be in the nosebleed seats at Comerica Park to see like Kid Rock and Eminem.
Yeah. That's a thing. But who's Bug Eater was flipping out when he went to the bathroom. It's like, where's Kevin? Where'd Kevin go?
I have no idea who Bug Eater is, but I am okay. I appreciate the concern.
All right, so we're gonna close this thing down with Down by Taylor Road.
Wow, look at that.
We're gonna close this thing with Down
by Taylor Road.
There it is. Next week on the show, I have no idea who we have on because I'm a lazy motherfucker. Remember the days when I used to have like 9 of them lined up at any one time?
And there was a few weeks where I like threw a few in there to help as a buffer.
now it's like a week by week basis, and it's usually not until Wednesday or Thursday.
Maybe we switch it up. Let's have like a Steve Engel call-in kind of thing.
Just switch it up.
Have the fans talk to us.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Hey, you never know.
All right, so we're going to close this thing down with Down from Taylor Road. And then, is there anything else you'd want to hear, like a second song maybe? Putting you on the spot again.
Cougaran,
okay. They've
been popping up in my news feed a lot, so they're just on my mind lately.
Cougaran, Beyond My Mind.
So they must be promoting their shit.
Should we do a faster song or a slower song?
Fast.
Okay, so we'll do this.
Let's keep it hype.
Let's keep it hype. Okay, keep the hype train going.
Keep it hot, as the young kids are saying. Or tip. I don't know. You said some shit earlier.
Turnt. Or lit.
No, you said something like the tip.
Oh, you're gonna get Steven on the tip.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
All right, we're getting
I'm way out of touch. All right, in my old age. Jesus.
Okay. Okay. This has been episode number 127 of the Rikki ROXX Show. We will see you guys next week's new year. We'll see you next year.
See
you next year, guys. For episode number 128, we're going to keep this thing going.
See, you need to make a post being like, hey, I'll see all of you next year, and people will lose their shit.
Yeah,
because you're all about the drama and the clicks.
Stupid.
I'm retiring until next year.
I'm not going to play another show for at least until next year. Jesus, all right.
The numbers will be insane.
All right, so getting out of here. I'm going to bed. Thank you to Joel Holes, Bug Eater, whatever that Russian thing was. That was Varktech, whatever that is.
Don't Google it.
Steve Engel, Lindsay Tyler,
everybody
Chris
in the
Tucker,
chat.
Sherry Claire, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Cam Davis, giving my boy Steven a hard time. That's what's up. And talk to you next week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're plowing toward number 200. Plowing. The more people that subscribe, the higher up this will get placed, and
algorithm.
The algorithm, it's a thing, and more people that will discover these awesome independent bands. And so that's what's up. We're getting out of here. Take it easy. Peace.
But you do not know my name. But you do not of a choice that's made by you. So I tear down your fragility, hope I never leave a stain. As you bathe in the river, you know me now, but you do not know my name. But you do not know my name. But you do not know my name. Yeah. Take me out a lonely town. Take me out, gonna take me down. Take me out a lonely town. Take me out, gonna take me down. Good thing that you never knew what there's in store for you. A ball and chain to the very end. You try to break and bend that broken promises. You will not prevail and you will not mend. 'Cause what you do to me I cannot ignore. Every chance that you get away, you leave me wanting more. Only thing that can save you now, I guess you can say. But if you ever want to escape, then you better start to pray. Take me out a lonely town. Take me out, you're gonna take me down. Take me out a lonely town. Take me out, you're gonna take me Here comes the adrenaline. Might wanna settle in right before the thunder starts to roll. Feel the heat start to rise. Takes you on by surprise. Hold your breath and wait for the roar. Starting to tremble and shake. Keeps you up, wide awake. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. It's Rikki rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki Rock Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Rikki Rocks, and you are listening to Rocks100.com.